Really good. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for attending. Apologies. Any apologies?
Kerry.
No, he's on. No, Sherry's on.
Kerry just acknowledged that Gary may be in and out of the meeting.
Yeah, we just acknowledged that Gary may be in and out this morning because of other commitments that he's got, but he will be attending whenever he can.
He's keen.
Any items not on the agenda to be discussed?
No. He's there.
Conflicts of interest?
I'm here, but I may not have my camera on, but that's all right.
Okay, thank you. The public forum, welcome to Hadley this morning, and thank you. You've got 10 minutes to do your presentation, if that's fine.
Have you signed in, Gary, to the new meeting?
Yes, you're welcome.
Sorry?
Yeah. We're good.
It's all good.
With me, I'll just see how we get this to full size.
It's better. These, Gary.
It's full screen mode.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, and Terry's there. Great.
Good morning.
When you're ready, Hadley.
Okay, thank you for taking the time, and I will keep to the 10 minutes. So my name's Hadley, I'm the General Manager of Destination Coromandel. When COVID hit, the central government announced funds for tourism to help support the industry get through what has been a pretty difficult time. As a regional tourism organisation that represents 2 districts, we were able to apply for some of these funds, and we did about 12 projects. In fact, one of them, there were 2 projects that we actually narrowed down and focused on that were purely focused on experience. One of them being the Ridges Mountain Bike Park here in Whangamata, and the other one being the Shorebird Centre over at Kukura Miranda. Otherwise, they were all just in short, fairly generic region-wide projects. One of them being a destination management plan, and this is what I'm here to just give you a little brief on today. So a destination management plan is really about us designing the future tourism experience as best we can to bring the best benefits back to the communities, our natural environment, and future visitors as well. So we're effectively kind of like the architects of that experience now, which is why we've done a whole lot of consultation. Well, we're about to begin the consultation, but a whole lot of research at this stage, and there'll be some interesting data that's coming out of Whangamata with some numbers that you definitely be interested in seeing. But what we would really love is to get your input and in the consultation phase when that kicks off. So I'll just take you through this process, and the next slide, please. So as mentioned, we're just creating a roadmap. So we're designing hopefully the best tourism experience that we can for our communities and environment going forward. And we need the views of all the different groups, from mana whenua, youth, right through to all the different ratepayers and so on. Terry, I see you're on there as well. It'd be great to get the views of the arts community and the like, all the different sectors. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah,
will do, Hadley. Thank you.
Yep. So we really want to understand the heritage of the Coromandel as well. And the heritage is obviously the cultural heritage, but things like that, the different sectors like the arts communities. But next slide, please. So far, the community surveys that we have gone through, we've got a fairly good response, and also been able to identify through those surveys who's mana whenua and not, because that's a pretty important phase that we really need to bring to life a lot more. Because if you look at the mātauranga Māori, the knowledge held within that community, we can learn a hell of a lot from that perspective. So we've got quantitative and qualitative research so far. And you'll see there's a stat for the qualitative research saying 74% of New Zealanders agree that as a destination, the Coromandel is good for your soul. So that's just an indicator of, it's not all about numbers and bums on seats and heads on pillows. Next slide, please. So this is just some of the themes that are coming out in terms of what the businesses have said around the Coromandel. So we did a business survey and a community survey, and you'll see there that the environment and people's livelihoods within this natural environment and the assets that we get to enjoy all the time are always coming up number one. And when we started going through this process, I read a document. It's 30 years old for the founding document of Tourism Coromandel. Same themes. So that's pretty alarming for us, is that we've got this golden opportunity now, and we need to make good on it through this process. So, and again, the themes there, what the region should be known for from the community surveys, so the beauty and health of the natural environments, champions of sustainability, a great place to live and visit. And then we've got already identified some pressure points in terms from a community perspective. So the likes of Hotwater Beach, Ngahere, and you've got the other end of the spectrum, Paengaroa and Hauraki, that we're willing to have more. So there's no surprises there. But again, we'll get to a stage where we'll be able to some interesting numbers around Whangamata after this workshop. Next slide, please. This is just a continuum to give you an indication of where the different communities see that they value tourism, whether it's positive or negative for their communities and environment. And, it's probably not too clear. Anything that's negative is actually on the positive end of the spectrum, in terms of where the towns sit. The ones that feel like there's too much pressure, for instance, are the ones we've mentioned: Hotwater Beach, Ngahere, Korihi Gorge. They've kind of got some of our iconic spots within them. Interestingly, Whangamata sees the current state of tourism in the visitor industry as fairly positive. And that's despite the numbers that we're starting to see through the data that we're getting. So, next slide, please. So our next step is town workshops throughout the region, and specific focus groups as well. And we'll be having one-on-one interviews with community leaders and mana whenua as well. And that's through that process that we'd really like your views, good, bad and ugly, to help shape what will be the destination management plan, because there will be a community lens as well. It's not just about the whole of the wider region. And there is a question there as to how much input community board members would like to have. So we've sort of got thrown our arms open really and trying to catch as much information and data and insights as we possibly can at this stage. So you'll have my contact details hopefully through this, and you can, but we'll be coming out to you anyway with more information out of it. I think there's one more slide, or is that it? Yeah. So just to finish on that, you'll see that sustainability is a pretty massive theme, and we've actually kicked off a sustainable program last week. It's based on a pilot program that we did last year with 6 businesses, and it's focused on zero waste, carbon zero and predator free. So we're aiming to get 200 businesses in the tourism sector in on that, and right throughout the region. And it's a very simple, progressive but ambitious program. So that the first stage or steps to get on board with this program are really simple, but it will require committed steps that deliver tangible results. So we're hearing that environment loud and clear, and we're really trying to move on that. And to give you an example, one of the steps for zero waste is we'll be going out to businesses in the tourism industry and trying to get them to commit to using no more single-use coffee cups, because one of the cafes or bakeries in the program last year they went through 3,000 single-use coffee cups a week. So when you times that by the amount of cafes, bakeries or whatever in the Coromandel over the year, we're talking at least 5 million and above. So people can actually make that commitment because it's not easy to do. We've been doing it for a year and a half. Then you can progress to other initiatives. Through this, we also got ECOS certification through our program, so we're pretty proud of that, and we probably need to make a little bit more noise about it. But anyway, we're about the destination management update, so we'll be coming back to you with more dates and hopefully getting more feedback from everybody.
Terry wants to ask a question.
Oh, yes, Hadley. No, fantastic to hear what you're doing there. I noticed over here too, there's bottle refunds. So we get 10 cents back on your bottle, which is a great system they've got in the system here. Your workshops you planned for the last week of May, is that correct? Is that Whangamata or is that the start of them?
So our committee administrator will be coming out with this, if she hasn't already, with the specific dates. So I haven't got them on hand. But yeah, it's sort of the May, June period. So you're not going to be here, or?
Yeah, I'm back on the 24th, so hopefully I'm around. But yeah, great initiative. So looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you.
So, Hadley, would these meetings be public meetings or just more for the business and board and stuff?
These ones are fairly focused. So we've got a selection of people that we're trying to, like community leaders and so on.
Right.
And we've had the community survey already, and we'll have another probably 1 or 2 surveys. Once we start narrowing down the focus, we'll then give the community an opportunity to share their views on that focus.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your presentation. It's appreciated. You're doing good work there. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Are you saying you want to figure it out? Thanks, Heather.
We now have Jennifer Noah, Chairperson for Poutere Community Hall. Good morning, Jennifer.
Kia ora tātou. Thank you for allowing me to speak today.
That's right. You have 5 minutes to talk to the group, and then they will ask any questions that they have. Go ahead, thank you.
Tāpai. Ko rangipo ko au, ko rangipo. Ko wharekawa ko au, ko wharekawa. Ko wharepapa rawa ko wairepo o ku tupuna, ko Jenny aho, tihei mauri ora. Rangipo is our mountain, and I am my mountain. Wharekawa is my awa, and I am my awa. Wharepapa and wairepo are my ancestors. Tihei mauri ora. I am here today to secure the lease for the Poutere Community Hall Incorporated. We have done what was asked of us from the Whangamatā Community Board. We were reincorporated on the 18th of February 2022, and our AGM was held the 17th of March 2022. We would like the opportunity to bring our community together by having community events in the Poutere Hall. For example, fundraising, working bees, market days, forums for youth, women, health, and te reo me ona tikanga classes. The Poutere Hall Committee are ready to accept the lease. We have widespread support from the community for the community management of the Poutere Hall. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Are there any questions?
Any questions from anybody? All right, thank you for coming along and speaking to us today. It's a matter that is going to be discussed by the community board, and you will be advised of the outcome of that. Thank you very much.
Kia ora tātou. Thank you very much.
Also, there is a letter that has been submitted from the Poutere Community Hall by Glenda Betts, a copy of which we have here that we will table.
I don't believe she's part of the committee for the chair. I believe that she is just speaking relating to the unfortunately community hall.
Oh, no, she's the original.
She is the original.
All right.
Okay.
She's here. Gay Barton, who is the Deputy Chair of Whangamata Area Committee for St John's, I understand is with us. Good morning, Gay.
Morning.
I
Morning.
understand you wish to speak to us. Just go ahead. Thank you.
I think Rachel Cheeseman is joining us as well in the meeting, and she's going to give an overview of the services of St John, and I'm just going to add a couple of bits from a local point of view. So is it okay if she speaks first, please? She's on the call.
Yes, she's present. Good morning.
Kia ora, everyone. Kia ora, Gay. Thank you for having us today to speak to you a little bit just about what is happening with St John in Whangamata. We've got a couple of wonderful opportunities coming up. We're organising alongside with the Whangamata Community Services Trust a networking day for the community hold and health networks in the area. Really, it's going to be the first time they're going to have the opportunity to get together, have a look and see what's missing in the services. We understand there seems like there are a few gaps, and how we can work together to to resolve those gaps in the health services that are being offered in Whangamata. We also have a new program that we're looking to partner also with the Whangamata Community Service Trust on and implementing or delivering to poutere, which is a youth training program. It's called poutere te pitamata, and it specifically gives rangatahi from 15 to 25 the full first aid certificate, teaches them leadership skills in a te ao Māori way, and focuses on health pathway options too. So we're looking to work with the Whangamata Area School to have that delivered locally. And I'm sure you're all aware of the house shuttle service that operates in and around Whangamata, does a brilliant job. The Whangamata service is now coming under the fold of the Hauraki service, so there's going to be an 0800 number. It means that our coordination and delivery of the service and the places that those shuttles will be able to go, there's going to be more options for the clients too. So that's about it from me. Gay, did you have any other specific Whangamata updates?
Yes, I'm just going to give an update on a couple of things that are happening or have happened in Whangamata, and also is going to happen. And the first one is it was a really popular course called the Weaving Wellbeing Program, and that's working with students aged between 11 and 12 years of age. It's a 10-week course. We delivered it to 3 classes at Whangamata Area School in Term 1. And it's teaching mental well-being and resilience skills. And in this day and age, and with some of the problems that we know are in our community, this is a very, very worthwhile course. And continuing on with the theme of well-being, on August the 3rd, we're going to be running a free mental health first aid course at the Whangamata St John station on the 3rd of August. It's a one-day course, and again, that's helping people in the community to build their own mental fitness, but also to add support to people who, their colleagues, etc., who are experiencing mental distress. And in this environment of COVID, we know that that's happening in our community. So those are 2 very practical, popular programs that are being run at the moment. That's me.
Any questions for?
Excuse me, Gay, Kay Baker. I was just wondering, that course on the 3rd of August,
Yes.
How would they apply for that if there was somebody who was interested? Like, when will it be advertised?
That I can't answer, but I would say in the first instance, simply ring Lynn Bryant at St John's and she will book you in.
That's correct. And we will be promoting the course a little bit closer to the time because we're running some in some of the other parts of Hauraki this month. So we're going to start promoting the Whangamata one in June, and there'll be an email address that you can just apply to. And you're all welcome.
And it's an 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. course.
Terry, I see you.
Yes, my question is to Anne. And I'm interested to hear about this transportation system you're putting through, and is it a joint venture with Community Services and the St John's? And is this part of the regional council's funding option that they're applying for local services?
And it's not part of the regional council. However, we have a meeting with that team next week, and we're working closely with them to see what the community transport is going to be that's delivered out of council. The St John Health Shuttle service is standalone, but we really want to see how we can coordinate and work better to provide better community transport, so we're not just doubling up on things. So the 0800 number that I will actually send an email through to you is so that people in Whangamata will ring that 0800 number, and they'll be able to be coordinated on a shuttle that can go through to Tauranga Hospital, Waikato Hospital, up to Ormiston, across to Thames. So linking in with our other services that we operate in Waihi, Thames and Whirianga.
Okay, thank you.
Just two questions from me. Firstly, in relation to the youth, I appreciate what you say about at the area school, but is there any intention to bring back the cadetship in Whangamata for young people? It could be something that could teach them some very good principles in life if it was brought back in.
Right.
Yeah, we've still got it on the Whangamata's plan as youth is still sitting there. However, we're really struggling to find the right leaders. And we have to have leaders that have the right skills, have to be passionate, and they have to want to spend that time with the youth. I think that is why we've also started to look at some of these other options of being able to support youth. We'll keep it on our radar. We're still looking.
And also in relation to coverage, which is a concern as a whole community of when exactly transport and that's available for it. What are your actual hours that coverage is given without having to use Waihi, Pairo or Thames?
So Whangamata was double crewed as of last year. So we now have, we've rolled out throughout New Zealand. It's taken a while to be able to double crew all our stations. So now we always have 2 officers there. We are looking to go 24/7, 7 days a week. We are at Whangamata, but we're looking at the logistics with the station. So at this specific time, I can't speak exactly to when that's going to happen, but we're working really hard behind the scenes to ensure that there is that coverage for Whangamata.
Thank you. Any other questions from anybody? Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Lisa and Paul from Vodafone, are you with us?
Yes, we are. Morning.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.
You've got 15 minutes if you need that time for your presentation.
We do. Thank you. I'll just share it up and make sure that you can actually see it. Everyone see it?
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for talking to us this morning. What we've come to talk to you about is, oh, here we go. Bear with me 1 second, it doesn't want to go now. Right, we come to talk to you about the network investment program that Vodafone is undertaking throughout New Zealand at the moment. So what we're doing is we're investing in our network to improve phone and internet coverage and quality. In 2021, data use increased by 60% as people have increasingly adopted digital ways of living, working and playing. Predominantly that's due to COVID-19, and COVID has definitely brought our program digital adoption 5 years ahead of where we thought we would be. Vodafone has the largest 5G network in Aotearoa, and we're continuing our network investment program into regional New Zealand. We're bringing better coverage and more capacity to our communities, and in order to do that, we need to build or upgrade 800 cell sites over the next 2 to 3 years. We've already rolled out in a number of regions, including Taranaki, Bay of Plenty, Canterbury, and Wairiki as well. So our next cab off the rank is Thames Coromandel region. We're scheduled for a late 2022 start with a 2023 finish. It takes about 6 to 12 months to plan, design and build a cell site, which is why we're talking to community boards and councils, but quite a lot of way out from where we'll actually start to build. Vodafone follows the Telecommunications Forum's community engagement guidelines, and in addition to that, we're also talking to district councils and community boards to ensure that our new cell sites are in the best possible locations. This is just a slide that gives you an idea of what we're talking about in our network investment program. It is a massive undertaking. Despite COVID doing its best, we're actually on track. We've managed to make up ground where we've had lockdowns, and we're rolling out to our plan, which is really good news. I've just got one particular slide here for you, and this is about the traffic growth over the recent holiday period. And it just shows throughout New Zealand where our mobile usage increased. And as you can see from that slide, Coromandel had the highest increase. In fact, more than 100% in most places within the Coromandel area. And you will know this as well, because in Whangamata we had to bring in what we call a cow, which is a cell site on wheels, for the holiday period to help with that growth, or with the additional capacity that was required for our network. So what are we doing in your region? We've identified 8 locations that require more coverage and capacity, and particularly capacity. Those locations are Kopu, Hikuai, Coromandel Town, Thames, Whitianga, Tairua, Pawanui and Whangamata. And the 3 sites bolded are the ones that we want to talk to you about today. So I'm just going to introduce Paul. Paul is our site acquisition manager. He is the gentleman who's been down looking at sites and working with our RF engineers to determine what coverage we need. You there, Paul?
Yep. Morning, everyone. As Lisa mentioned, it's quite a big program at work. So not only those 8 or 9 towns that she talked about, those are where we're putting new sites. We're also, wherever possible, upgrading our existing sites throughout the region as well. When we upgrade an existing site, the intention is to try and sort of be able to, we don't get more coverage, but we can sometimes get more capacity out of an existing site. So along with the new sites we're looking to build, we are also upgrading what's already there. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, those old sites, which have been there probably sort of 20 years, are either at their capacity already, and there's not much more we can do. So the first town we wanted to talk about, Whangamata. Lisa's got a coverage map there. The one on the left is our existing coverage. Orange is good, yellow is poor. And then on the right, we're looking at around the Williamson's 9-hole golf course is our sort of search area. If we were to put a new piece of infrastructure in there, that's the coverage improvement we'd expect. So basically improving coverage for the southern part of town, including the surf club, the golf course and the residential areas all around there. So that's going to provide improved not only handset calling and data, but also wireless broadband for people who are holidaying or living in the community. If we go to the next slide, Lisa. So the red box is our search area. as you can see, we identified quite quickly that the golf course is probably the golf course is the central point where we wanted to, where we thought if we put some, we'll get our sort of the best coverage objective that we're trying to achieve. And it didn't really leave many other options for us for anywhere to go. So we've already started discussions with the general manager of the golf course and their committee about whether they would have a Vodafone infrastructure on there. Spark already have a mobile tower in the middle of the golf course, and that's where initially the golf club has directed us to look. So we're talking to both the golf club and Spark about what our options would be there. We understand that it's also a council-owned reserve, so when we get further down that track, we'll be presenting again to council about what we'd want to do, and hopefully proposing a lease arrangement, a sublease arrangement through the golf course. The other little dots, I don't know how well you can see that from where you guys are our existing sites in Whangamata. So we've got one up on the hill to the west, one in the centre of town. So this is really to provide that additional coverage where the people are using it. Go to the next slide, Lisa.
Tyro.
Cool. Have we got people from the Pawanui and Tairoa boards present?
Yes. The chairperson of the Whangamata Community Board is present.
Okay, great. So Tairoa is another town, a similar situation. Probably here it's capacity more than coverage. Our existing sites in the region sort of can't do any more work, and we really need to get more, be able to enable users to use our services more freely when times are busy in the central part of Tairoa town. So again, we've got two coverage maps there. It just shows quite a big improvement right through the central Tairoa. If we go down again, the next slide shows we've got our search area. We've got a wide range of existing sites that provide coverage to Tairoa, but they're all very far away. And what's happened with mobile usage is the more intense usage now that we're using our mobiles more for than just making an emergency call home, or it's also now obviously your Google Maps, emails, people working from home, residential wireless broadband, commercial wireless broadband. So we need to bring the services closer to where people are using them. So this is central Tairoa. If we go to the next slide, we had quite a wide search area. We've tried to stick to the commercial area, and what we're proposing is our preferred. There's a few options that would work, but our preferred option that we would like to pursue, there's an existing telephone exchange owned by Chorus, and there's an existing wooden pole there that houses some of their small antenna. What we're proposing with Chorus is whether they would let us replace that wooden pole with a new pole that could accommodate both our equipment. So the idea is that we're not adding a new vertical structure into the town. We'd be trying to use what's there. We would need a slight height increase, but it would all be done within the rules of the district plan and the NES. The next location is Pawanui. Again, this is quite a big coverage play, trying to provide services into where a lot of the people are living and holidaying. But it also does provide quite a bit of new coverage to that northern tip of town, sort of towards the harbour entrance. Next slide, Lisa. Again, that just shows our search area. We've got the main site that covers Pawanui is up on the hill to the south. There's another small site at the petrol station near the runway there, but neither of them are really providing those services in a sort of dense residential area. So this is the next slide shows that search area more close up. sort of identified the intersection of Vista Paku and Pauanui Boulevard as somewhere we're interested in. We've made an initial approach to the roading manager of Thames Coromandel District Council, and his preference was that we stuck to the side of the road rather than using the median strip. This area that we've identified here, where I've got the yellow pin on the north part, is quite a wide road verge. What we'd be proposing there is we'd be looking to put a new pole in approximately 15 metres with the antenna at the top shrouded. It would meet the district plan rules with the height limit and the height in relation to boundary, and it would comply with the Telecommunications Act rights that encourage us to install infrastructure in the road corridors. The slide that you're seeing now is a site that we recently installed in Bowentown, and that's the same design as what we'd be proposing in both Pauanui and Tairua.
So
next steps.
Yep,
You want to go to the next steps?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sure.
Sorry. So my email's up there. It's an opportunity for us to receive feedback from community boards if they want to do that. Obviously, we've talked to you through where our preferred locations are. We need to do more work, more site investigation work that involves a site survey, getting some plans drawn up. Once we get to that point, we then, as part of our what we call our TCF engagement process, we write to neighbouring properties where the sites are located to outline our plans. That gives them an opportunity to provide feedback to us. At the same time, we start the process of lodging a Telecommunications Act notice and our RMA application with council. So thank you, and just any questions? Or if you want me to go back to any slides, just let me know.
I didn't hear only Manu mentioned in relation to that. I know that particularly over the busy periods, they have problems there. Is this going to improve only Manu poutere?
Yes, I actually I just called through Whangamata last week. What we're looking at there is upgrading our existing site that's on the hill to the south of Whangamata. And it's on forestry land, I think by the council water reservoirs. So our plan there is to add. We've got the option to add more carriers to that, which would, I think that does a reasonable job of covering the town. I think it's more of a capacity issue. So that's our plan there at the moment. Obviously, the only manner that topography is quite hard as well to try and get all the little the valleys covered.
Thank you.
Terry,
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Terry.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Thank you, Vodafone representatives, Lisa, and my questions around first of all, we as a community, we're doing a security system, and we struggled with Vodafone to work a relationship with them to put a repeater on one of your towers. So I'm hoping that as you go forward on this, that you work better with the other telecommunication companies and do use towers that you can use in situ and allow equipment that improves the tower's ability for wireless or securities to work together. So is that a movement that you're planning for the future to be able to work better with the other communication companies?
Do you want to answer that, Paul, or do you want me to?
Yeah. So, I mean, wherever possible, our first port of call is a co-location if there is an option. The real restraint with that at the moment is so much that infrastructure is, as I mentioned earlier, it includes our own infrastructure is already at capacity. So equipment's been added over the years to keep trying to keep up with demand. So often it would take pulling down the old tower and building a whole new piece of infrastructure to be able to house everyone who needed to go on it. And then I guess that has a number of constraints. The other infrastructure is already working, it's providing a service, it needs to continue. And then there's also, I guess, each party who owns that infrastructure has their own future upgrade path that they need to protect as well. Those are the sort of constraints we deal with, Terry, but it's definitely something from all parties, if we can do that, it's the preferred option. I mean, from Vodafone, it saves quite a lot of money on building this stuff, but it also from a community point of view, yes, there's something already there, like we mentioned with that chorus pole. We're going to try and replace that rather than add a new vertical pole into the community township.
Okay, thank you. It's good to see
Thank
you do work together. Thank you.
Somebody else wanted to.
Yes, Ken.
Another question also.
Yeah. Oh, good morning. My question is similar to Terry's. It's around the Williamson Park golf course. And as you rightly say, there's already a spark tower there. And when it went in, there was quite a lot of community murmurings about and all the dangers and whatever. But putting that to one side, there are also concerns from an aesthetic point of view about having this big pole sticking up. So are we going to have another pole sticking up, and then 2 degrees will come along and they'll want to stick a pole up, and there'll be poles all over the course? So, is it possible that you can work with perhaps 2 degrees if they were thinking of doing something into the future and sharing the costs and having just one pole? I presume you can't add on to the spark tower at the moment.
We are actually. Oh, sorry, Paul. I'll just be quick on this because I know we're running out of time. We are actually talking to Spark, and we are looking for an opportunity to co-locate there. But those conversations are at the infancy, so we just don't have any more detail at the time. But I can tell you, it is one of the things we are looking to do.
That's good to hear.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
With regards to Tyro, I don't know whether you're aware, but when Spark suggested a 5G tower in Tyro, it created a massive amount of resistance. We had a sit-in at our community board meeting. So the misinformation that's out there about this 5G in particular, how do you plan on addressing that?
Sorry, I think we cut out there. Can I respond to that? Oh, okay. Yes, you're absolutely right. It is something that we're addressing through the country. So there is a lot of online misinformation, but what we've got is a lot of information that we can share with communities that addresses that. So, and I won't rattle them all off here, but as we move through the process, we can provide information to community boards about where to find that information, and to the public and to the questions we get. But we're aware of what happened in Tairua, absolutely.
Thank you. Ken, you've got another question?
No, sorry, I should lower my hand.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for your time this morning. We appreciate your presentation, and let's hope that we can go forward together and get things done around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, minutes confirmation.
Do you want to?
Oh. That is the public forum completed. All in favour of being seconded?
Aye.
Right.
I'll move it.
Yeah, I'll second.
And seconded by Tamara.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favour?
Minutes of the confirmation of our last meeting of the.
And I'll move that they be accepted.
And I second that. We were the only two that were there, I think. So. Being moved and seconded, all in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. We have a request to retain the 2021-22 Whangamatā Community Board grant for Korihi Te Manu Onahi Toa Society, which is for the eradication of pests. Any discussion on that?
I'd like to move that we retain, they can retain it.
Dave, could I just ask, is that the one that's based on the Otahu estuary side?
That's correct. Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's all good. Yep.
Okay, we haven't moved. Anybody second
I'll
that?
second that.
Thank you. Seconded by Ken. A new lease for a poutere community hall. You have the paperwork, etc., which was received this morning, and also from the discussion that we had in public forum.
We just do a vote for the previous one, or those in favour?
Oh, okay. Sorry, we've just got to vote in relation to the other. I'm all in favour of the money being retained. So
Aye.
Aye.
carried. A poutere community hall. Any discussion on that?
Can Eileen give us a bit of an update on where we are?
On the lease of the hall.
Yeah.
So as you can, I'll take the report as being read. John, are you online?
Yes, I am, Eileen. I'll just pop the camera on.
So, so this is a property report, so I'll get John to respond to you, Terry.
Thank you.
So through you, Mr. Chair. So the report in front of you is a proposal to grant a lease to the poutere hall committee. We're aware that there are perhaps some issues around the valid election of the committee that's still being worked through. So the recommendation in front of you is to approve or recommend to council to grant a lease, but the commencement date not start until I've been satisfied that the hall committee is duly in place, is proper, and is a fair representation of the affairs of that community.
Thank you, John. That's good. I haven't got the report in front of me, so it was good to get a bit of an update. Thank you.
I think that's a fair comment. I would support that, John, from you. So is there any other discussion on them?
No, I'd just like to move the recommendation that's on the order paper, giving John the ability to work through the issues before any lease is entered into.
I'll second that.
Beat ya.
Okay.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that John has got the authority to move ahead with this when he's satisfied that there is a legitimate committee.
All those in favour?
So all those in favour say aye.
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 Against Betty? Carried. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're going to do the
guidelines. To go with the recommendation on the table.
Please conclude that.
Yeah, we let my go against it. That's fine.
The Whangamatā Community Board work program.
Good morning, everyone.
Who's here?
Andrew.
These
Good morning, Andrew.
Are we going to go by one or just pick out that?
Yeah. How do you want to do it, Andrew? Do you wish to go through them one by one? Or
We can do, or the ones that are most pertinent. If I could start off with the Moana Anu pedestrian cycleway, after much passage of time with DOC, they've confirmed that the track that we are proposing to modify has got 6 midden sites on it, 5 of which are on DOC land, 1 is on ours. They have confirmed informally that our chance of getting a concession from DOC to construct the walkway are at best slim because of that. It's a challenging excuse me, project, but that's what we've had from DOC. My recommendation is on that basis, because these things take time and it's likely that construction of the track will disturb some of the middens, which will pop up on Heritage New Zealand's view is that we leave this project and do not proceed with it.
Terry, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, disappointing to hear, Andrew, your story. This was started in 2014, and it's 8 years old later. We told it's not going to move forward, so pretty disappointing. Yeah, what else can I say?
Andrew, is it because of it being on the water side that DOC are involved? If it was on the other side of Hetherington Road?
It's through the chair. I think it's a function of the number of middens that are there, the number of them that are on DOC land, and in our recent discussions with DOC, it seemed to last forever. Their view is that we'd need to consult with iwi, which we would anyway, and that we'd need an archaeological authority from Heritage New Zealand to do any work in there, and it's unlikely, in their experience, that we'd get a concession from them. So approved. So everything is against this, and I listened to what you said, Terry. I know this has been on the cards for a long time, but to the moment it's just looks like it's a step too far, and it's disappointing. I think we could, through the chair, I think we could look at another location, but the one that's proposed at the moment along the harbour is fraught with issues. Sorry, Kay.
Sorry, Andrew, it's just that that didn't sort of answer Dave's question. He was asking about what if it was the other side? Would it be the same?
I'm not sure. Okay, to be honest with you, I can look at that, but the one that we've been proposed is just too hard at the moment.
Yeah,
I can look at that.
Maybe the other side might be an option.
Yes, we'll look at that, definitely, given that request. So yeah, I'll report back to you, the board, at the next meeting.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Thank you.
A couple of other things: the CCTV cameras, the fibre installation at Williamson Park by Chorus has been completed. So that project is now 100% complete. The boardwalk, we're still consulting with one iwi, Ngāti Po, on this at the moment, who are proving challenging to get anything from, and we're still waiting, believe it or not, for a plumber for the shower. So we're still pushing that one along at the moment. I know it will go into next year, and I'm hoping to have a report to the community board at the June meeting on everything associated with that.
So we just moved on.
Island View car park. Right now.
No, just can we please stick with one page and then just get any questions on the projects? Just with regards to the boardwalk, what do we think the timing will be for the variation, and is there a reason that it can't have already been done?
I can't give you an accurate estimate of the timing because that depends on DOC. But I'm sure that within the next couple of months we can finalise that.
I'm just wondering why we're not, is there a reason why we can't apply for the variation prior to the pricing coming in?
We have done.
Oh, that's not the comments within this.
Well, that's the end. This is at the end of March. It's been done since then.
Okay, and so the remaining budget of 14,000 is going to be enough to cover the shower?
Where did you get the 14,000 from?
The difference between 31 and 45?
Yeah, but we've still got the 233 that will be, the remainder will be carried over.
I'm just commenting on the forecast till the end of June. So are we saying that the shower, that when is the shower going to be done and what are we spending in that 45?
I'm not sure at the moment. we still have some design work to do and time spent with iwi. I'm not sure if it will be exactly 14,000, but yeah, I don't know at the moment.
So we do now have the tender price in, and it has been assessed now that.
Yes, it has been assessed last month in April, and we'll present to the community board a report next month to tell you where we are with regard to the budget.
And so that will have a full breakdown of cost to complete.
Yes, yes, it will.
Okay, where?
Kathy's working on that as we speak at the moment.
Okay. And so with the parks and reserves, are we going to ensure that the full budget is spent by the end of financial year?
Which project are you talking about now?
The parks and reserves renewals.
97. I'm advised yes, but I need to confirm that with Lou.
Okay, will you revert to us?
Yes, I will. Yeah, I will.
And
I'll make a note now. There's about what 50 odd thousand left.
yeah.
So I will. I'll provide a confirmation. Find a pen that works. Find confirmation after the meeting.
Okay, and so for the minor reserves projects, the unspent budget being put towards a tsunami raft, is that just signage?
I'm not sure. Again, I can confirm that as well.
Okay.
I'm not up to speed with that project. I'll be honest with you.
Terry, do you have a hand up?
Yes, is my mic on? Oh, yes, it's on. Andrew, just back to the parks and reserves. I understood that Lou was going to come to the meeting and explain or lay out the projects that they were going to complete within that program for this year. Has he done that? Have I missed that?
No, I don't believe you've missed it, and I don't believe he's online at the moment. But I will obtain confirmation from Lou on those two items, 2330 and 2235. In fact, those three, all three there.
That would be good.
Andrew, I think what we want here is a breakdown of actually what is actually being spent on what. Because, I mean, you've spent nearly 40,000 on what, and there's still 50,000 something left. So what is it going to be spent on?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could just speak to that, Andrew. I raised the issue around some of the equipment around town that was looking really shoddy and needed upgrading, and that was part of his response, was to come back and give us an idea of where that money was going to be spent. So it would be good to know.
Through the chair, Terry, I was unaware of that, but I will speak to Lou straight after this meeting.
Thank you.
And get an email response from Lou with breakdowns, money spent today, what it's been spent on, and what's going to be spent between now and the end of June.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, fine. Can I move on to the page 2?
Yep. Yes, thank you.
Right. Whangamatā car park reseals, they're happening as noted in the comments. Island View car park. Now, the last meeting, from the report that I issued, we said that the project was on hold pending further community consultation. So last Friday, Eileen and I met with Warren Hutt, Phil Lang, John Hall, and his wife Fiona with regard to this. The outcome of that meeting was they would not like to see a sealed car park at Island View, but would like to see the area, and this comes back to something that Kay, you mentioned a long time ago, the area to be levelled and grassed and left as it is, similar to some of the car parks that we have in and around Williamson Park. That was what
Exactly.
that's what they said. Okay, so that's the feedback. They requested a layout showing that, and when which I've already spoken to Pinnacles about. When they get that layout, subject to your confirmation to proceed on that basis, we will send it to them. They will then send us a list of all the other people that we need to consult with, their email addresses, and we will issue that to them for final agreement / of the consultation carried out. That's where we are at the moment. Eileen, have you got anything else to add?
No, you've covered it. Thanks, Andrew.
So we're basically back to the start for this one.
Yep.
Oh, well, we've actually got them on board as far as I've always said that Whangamata does not need all this tar, seal and concrete. It's sand and it drains. So as long as it's done properly, it's fine as grass.
The idea, Kay, is to level it out and put some metal down and compact it, and then topsoil and grass on top. Yeah. Primarily because if we just leave it as grass, when it's wet or it's rained, vehicles, even camper vans, will probably get stuck.
I totally agree.
In that, so I've discussed that. It would not, when once complete, it would not look like a metal car park. It will look like a grassed area that can be used. If we do that, I am reasonably confident that the issues raised by Warren Hutt and the other people who came to the meeting a couple of months ago would be satisfied.
So through the chair, so the 30,000 that we've spent to date is on the consultant.
Yes, and also the resource consent for the car park, which has recently been approved.
But I don't think, so the 30,000 was prior to it being approved, so I doubt that the resource consent fees are captured in that 30,000.
You might doubt that. I'm not sure at the moment, but it's mostly design fees, yeah.
But design fees on a design that we're not going to be proceeding with.
Correct.
So therefore we're up for more money to get another design.
Yeah, so it's 15% of the budget for no reason.
Yep.
Ken, you've got a question?
Yeah, thank you. Andrew, my question is, so this group of residents who, some of them live close to the park and some a little bit further away, they are happy with a grass car park. But does that mean they would be happy in the future for motorhomes to park on their freedom camping? Or is that, I know it's something we have to go through the freedom camping bylaw for that to be something that's permitted. So I take it in the first instance, it would be a car park for anyone.
Yes.
And then if the freedom camping bylaw so designated, then freedom camping could take place on it. Does that summarise it?
Yes.
Terry.
Andrew, goodness me. It's hard to believe that the community board went forward with this with a grassed area, and somehow the council decided it was going to be a metalled area, and now people down the road have complained it's going back to a grassed area. So I'm a little surprised about all this action. It was talked about being goby blocked and all that on the grass, but it looks like you do a metal with a grass verge, a grass top.
Through the chair, Terry, goby blocks would have been too expensive.
This is too expensive.
Right.
Andrew, we wasted 5 years because nobody took what the community board first actually opted for. We're talking 5 years to go from grass to what you guys wanted, tar seal or whatever. up to $208,000 when it could have been done 5 years ago when we first muted it for about 20,000. It's crazy how we never get listened to on any of this stuff.
I can't comment on what happened 5 years ago, okay? I can only comment on what's happened in the past couple of years.
I know.
It is unfortunate. This project is very unfortunate, but I am very confident that the budget that we have there, 208,1863, will accommodate the final version.
Well, as long as it's done properly with a proper foundation that will drain.
I agree.
Through the chair, generally, I just am concerned with our process or timeline of our tendering, and we're tendering for things prior to having the consent and the documentation and the approval in place. So we're incurring costs with that process and potentially engaging a contractor who then is locked in, who then I imagine their tenders are expiring, they get a second cut of the price, like we're losing the competitive advantage. I'm just not sure why we are tendering for this work prior, that likewise with the boardwalk, like before having the consents in place.
I agree. I agree.
All right, any further discussion on that from there? Andrew, what else have you got?
On page, the third page.
Can we go to the toilets?
That's where we're coming to, isn't it? You're talking about public convenience?
Yeah. On the third page.
Why are they to Orange, Andrew?
Can I
can we keep in order, Kay? We've got some other pages to work through rather than jumping to the bottom. Just my suggestion.
Just bear with me a minute. The NIBCO construction, that work has started. Splice have been appointed, and that work is happening right now. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that Barraclough Road. They've started on that, gone as far as Bond Road on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I have nothing else to comment on page 2.
What about Whangamata Street? Is that going to happen or not?
Just bear with me. I believe so.
Because we did get advice 2 or 3 months ago that because of the lack of subsidy, we probably wouldn't even be able to afford that. But I'm not sure if that's right or not. It's only a short stretch.
I'll confirm that after. I'm not sure. I'll confirm that after the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a comment on Whangamata on the action schedule in relation to the board requested an update of Whangamata Street footpath. Insufficient budget to complete all of Whangamata Street this year, to be completed early in the next financial year when budget is available.
Okay.
Andrew, is James McCarty speaking on in relation to street lighting, etc., or are you doing that for him?
If I need to, I will. Excuse me.
Just in relation to Durham Drive, the Durham Drive only has 2 lights in the whole of the street, and it is very, very dark. I observed that opposite Ngātupu Place, which is the first on the left of Durham, there is, I don't know whether it was a power box or a street light, which was knocked out over 2 years ago, and it's just had a cone sitting over it. So whether that was the position of a street light, I don't know, but it definitely would be the right place to put it because it's right opposite the intersection of Ngātupu Place.
Okay.
But we won't have enough money for that, Dave, this year, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
You won't have enough.
No, it's going on Tuna and Wattle.
We're very close to finishing the budget now.
Okay.
I'll get a response though.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman.
just even as far as the safety concern with the cone over the top of it, if whether what's underneath it is, power, that could cause us for somebody to be electrocuted with it.
Okay. That's urgent.
Thank you.
I'll have James provide me with an update on that and comment on Durant Drive.
Thank you very much.
Anything else on page 2?
Yeah.
Page 3?
Are you going, Andrew?
Drinking water standards, the building consent for Whangamata water treatment plant is in now and being processed. The stage 2 building consent for Moana Point will be going in on Thursday this week. And I'm hoping that expecting rather, that the boundary adjustment work, which is current, will be completed by then, so that we can restart construction at Moana Point during the course of June. I have no comments on water optimisation at the moment. Public conveniences, Beach Road, Martin Road and Island View. Our contractor, Permaloo, has confirmed that they will not complete these by June this year because of issues that they've faced from resources due to COVID. So I'm expecting these 3 projects to be completed by August next year. We have had an updated programme from Permaloo.
August next year?
August next
This
year.
year, sorry, beg your pardon.
No, you're probably bang on the money there.
No. August this year.
Better not be. We'll have no money left at the time.
So we'll get that, the budget that's available now transferred to next year. It's disappointing, but I'm receiving these sort of confirmations all over the place at the moment.
So hang on, Andrew, are you saying that it will go into next year?
Yes, it will.
So
the budget,
what does it mean by it's going to start August this year?
Right, it'll be completed in August.
This year?
This year, this calendar year, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And so are they all the same contractor for the 3 facilities?
Yes, the same contractor, Permaloo, does all our toilets, builds them off site. We do we manage the civil works on site. They come along and then put them in place. Similar to the one in the relatively new one that we did in Tairua.
Right. And so what's their program for completion once they start?
I've just told you, August.
August.
Yeah, but how many, once they start, how many weeks does it take them to do the work?
Probably 3 weeks.
I see there's some work being done in Martin Road at present, Andrew, around that area, whether that is...
With Martin Road, we have a toilet and a dump station there. And we've got a new drain to put in underground, but it's very close to a high voltage cable, which is underground. So we've been doing some investigative work in that area to make sure that whenever we put the drain in, the new drain in, that it doesn't conflict with the existing underground HV cabling.
Sure.
That's the dump station, which is adjacent to the toilet.
Okay.
Through the chair, just with regards to the budget, when did the budget get reset for Martin Road and Island View?
Which, when you say reset, you mean less than?
So at the end of in our November meeting, sorry, I haven't checked the previous minutes, but our November meeting, they were 171 and 244, and now they're at 318 and 480. I was just wondering when the budget usually gets reset.
I don't know. Is the answer. I'm not sure how that was
The
reset.
quote comes in, I suppose. The trouble is, Andrew, with everything that that does concern us, the longer that these things get delayed, the more money we have to spend and the less we get for it.
My answer to that is that we plan to do them within the year. Okay, with the budget that is in the LTP and that you've approved. I have no control over delays caused by COVID-19, which for all three is what we're facing at the moment. And also,
we realise that, Andrew, but we don't sort of get put in the loop for all this thing. We just get the work done. It goes from green, green that's going to start, and then we see it's orange. Who knows? Next time it'll probably be red.
But also, I mean, that being over twice the original budget cannot just be lumped into the COVID-19 bucket. And I would also expect that the project delivery manager would be aware why the budget has blown out so much. Like, that is our duty, to be monitoring these things and to have the information about these projects.
I will look at what you were presented with in November and respond to that by email.
Thank you.
Terry, you've got your hand up.
Yes, I have, but Tamsin's asked all the right questions and I'm concerned also. So we're looking forward to that information. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more from you, Andrew?
No, thank you.
Yes.
Moved.
Yeah, move second.
So that is the work. Is there any other discussion or queries on the program?
I move that we accept the work program.
Yes.
Moved by Kay, seconded by Tamsin. All in favour?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Action schedule.
Questions on those to receive?
So I just move that the action schedule be received. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Moved and seconded. You move, Tamsin move, and Kay second.
Anyone else?
Sorry.
Against?
Yeah, any against? Carried. Members reports. Anything to be? Terry, you won't have anything when you're from over
No, just to say I'm recovering from COVID and still feeling a bit tired, but really disappointed again with the outputs from the last meeting to here today, what's going on in the work program. Find it very distressing to wait this time and get the negative results, or that we're not ready, or with budgets going up. I just find it difficult to for the board to move forward and get things achieved if we struggle all the time. So that's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary, have you got anything to add?
Only what I mentioned earlier to the board, that a very important meeting last Friday, which will be quite a good progress forward for the TCDC.
Thank you. And Ken?
No, it seems like half the board's had COVID. I'm in that category now, so hopefully I'll get out sometime next week.
Fair enough. All right. Tamsin, have you got anything?
Yeah, I would just like to reiterate what Terry has said. I'm really disappointed with the presentation on our expenditure and our projects. I would like to see that our delivery managers come to these meetings with full visibility of what's happening. So often in these meetings, we bring up queries and we're promised an email or the like.
Sure.
Sometimes they're followed up. When they're not part of the publicly recorded meeting, and it really just delays these things even further. And I would think when these budgets are over 2 times the original budget, that's quite an extreme shift, and that needs to have the appropriate correspondence. And also when we're choosing these projects at the start, it's based on the indicative value, and obviously we would potentially make different choices if we were given a better guide initially. Just an update from me. So I have been having discussions with the poutere pool, and obviously we know that there's work to do, and we've discussed that already today. I'd just like to acknowledge Eileen for all your efforts with that. I'm really grateful for your support of me, and also for your support of the poutere pool. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Eileen. That's good. Okay.
Just attending meetings for the swimming pool and the library, and reiterating what Terry and Tamsin say. It just gets so frustrating with all these delays and the costs that we incur.
Yes, and I concur.
That's frustrating.
It is frustrating. There's no doubt about it. I attended the Whangamata Ratepayers meeting last month. I wasn't there this month because of health. They've got some community functions that they're planning at present, but nothing that concerns the board as far as that. Toes in the water, just to give you an update from there, last Saturday, men's shed, we put down the ladder decking at the Wellington Park from where the wheelchairs will go down there. We've only got about 2 metres to go to complete the ladder decking. And we've also, the shed has been constructed. It only has the roof to go on it. They're waiting for the wind to go down because of the building paper putting it on. And also we're waiting on the door. It's a partial door that's to go on. There'll be no power there, but it'll be a good storage area. And I've got the decking, the ladder decking down there, but it has a bit more work to be done just to tidy it up. But everything's go for there, and then we'll be able to, we paid for the matting, which will be used before Labour weekend, and it's a matter of getting that back from Tauranga for the Graham Smith, who runs the information centre, has asked me to distribute to the members a concept plan that he's put together with some of the costing being done on it in relation to this area to the side of the information centre, with a recommendation that that gets like a town square concept with a covered roof, exposed aggregate ground, new seating, book exchange cabinet, and a non-slip tile area, which would be like a large chess pieces, and a new fence on the southern end of the town centre, a drinking fountain, and new display support for existing glass information cabinets. So he's getting it together, and there's a concept plan attached for each of the members just to look at. It's a discussion point at this stage, and see where we go from there.
Great idea.
So that's all I've got from that side of it. The only other thing is that just to advise that I will not be standing again at the next election for community boards. So.
Oh, could I just add, for the swimming pool, that the heat pumps are working and the pool is at 27 degrees.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Right.
All right. Okay.
To receive.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded in relation to the members' reports. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much. That's it.
Close the meeting.
So close the meeting at 11:25.